I extend a warm welcome to everyone present here, both online and offline. First up, let's start off with the business session. I would like to announce that our next meeting will be on 16th August, Tuesday, as 15th August is a holiday for Mekon and the services will be closed. And I now request Vice President of Education, Gaurav, to give the updates on the role takers for the next week.
A very good evening for the next meeting. Master ceremonies has been booked by Toastmaster Sharanji. Speaker roles has been booked by Toastmaster Mukesh and Toastmaster Jeeva. And table topic master has been booked by Toastmaster Ujjwal and general evaluation by Toastmaster Sharanji. Two individual evaluators and tab 0 is industry members can contact.
With that, I would like to hand over the task to Sergeant at Arms.
Sorry, I forgot my voice. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome, dear guests. So today it's all about humorous encounters. When I was about 8-year-old, I had been to a movie called Laksh. This was in Urvashi Theatre, and the seats were so huge I almost drowned in them. And there was one man. There's always usually somebody who comes late to the movies, and he was struggling to find a seat. And he could not see that I was sitting there, and he sat on me. Of course, it was not very funny for me, but my sister and my father had a great laugh. So today, it's all about laughter, giggles, and smiles. And when I say smiles, I'm reminded of one person who has such a charming smile that it can ameliorate everything. She is a science graduate who has done a postgraduate diploma in systems management. She is fond of traveling. She loves reading and also practices yoga regularly. And if you didn't know, she has been the SAA past associate VP PR and the secretary of this club. Today, she will grace us with her charming smile again as the president of our club. So please help me welcome Madam Lalana Murthy, our beloved president.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I see some guests here. I would like, I request you to introduce yourself and tell us how you came to know about Mekon Communication. Yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Sandhya and I'm doing my BA in English Honors. And I came to know about Toastmasters by Mr. Robinson and my close friend Surekha ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, yourself.
Used ones. Good evening, my name is Murli. This happens to be our second visit. I have just come to see if my daughter can become a member here, just introducing a couple of sections. She has already told that we have come through some references like Robinson and Surekha. We just, of course, we saw a couple of online sessions, just trying to get a grip and understand what it is all about. This is going to help her. I have been a trainer mostly last so many years, now retired very happily. I work for Satyasa organizations as something which we call service and only seva. So I belong to the organization and doing service all over the place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murli, and I hope Cyprian would like to attend the meetings and want to become a member. And sir, to tell you, till you become our members, we'll keep asking you for introductions. Because you are not our members, you are our guests.
Sure.
Yourself, sir, you can tell from there.
My name is hi, good evening to all. My name is Manjunath Ajur. Actually, I don't know what is the meaning of Toastmaster. And the first I heard only one word I know that is the communication. That is I got from Google Professor. Then they called here, and the last Monday I attended. Completely I don't know about the Toastmaster, but I want to learn. I want to improve my communication.
Okay. Then you are in the right place, Mr. Manjunath. Welcome. I see some guests online. Mr. Ashley Shroff, can you please introduce yourself and tell us how you came to know about Mekong Communication Club?
Hi, I'm Toastmaster. Hello, am I audible? I'm not able to hear you. Hello, no, you are on mute. Am I audible, right? Okay, fine. I am Ashish Shroff. I am from Odisha. I am also a Toastmaster. I'm the secretary of GEP Toastmasters Club Mumbai. And I got to know about the American Communication Club Toastmaster from Instagram page. So I'm so curious that I want to join and I want to witness the Toastmaster sessions here at Mecca. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shroff, and welcome to Mekong Communication Club. We also have Subha Murli, who is attending online. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Subha Murli. I got this introduction through Mr. Robinson and Sai Priya, and I am really enjoying the show. Thank you.
Is this your first meeting, Ms. Subha?
Yes, this is my second. This is the first meeting.
I now request Toastmaster Shivprasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, President. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1173 held on the 1st of August 2020. The theme was Beyond the Horizon, Word of the Week, Jubilant. The business session started at 6:34 p.m. and was chaired by the President, Toastmaster Lalana. In the business session, the following point was addressed. The Vice President Education, Toastmaster Gaurav, mentioned that all the roles, apart from the 2 speech slots, Table Topic Master and Master of Ceremonies, were open for the next meeting, and interested members were requested to contact him for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:35 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana H.A. started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Lalana. The President opened the meeting, spoke on the theme, and introduced the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Jyoti Rao. Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Pavani CR, R-Counter Toastmaster Ujjwal, Grammarian Toastmaster Rashmi, and PP Evaluator Toastmaster Pavani Katta. The prepared speech session had the following speeches. First one by Toastmaster Balakrishna V, giving his level 1 project 1 and was evaluated by Toastmaster Zulekha. Second one by distinguished Toastmaster Udanka, giving his level 5 project 2 and was evaluated by Toastmaster Monish. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Jivita and had the following speakers. Toastmaster Mamata, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa, Toastmaster Sanjana Prabhanjan, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, DTM A.K. Prabhakara, and guest Krishnamurthy. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Balaji A.S. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker DPM Udanka, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Monish, Best Table Topic Speakers DTM AK Prabhakara and Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, Best Role Taker Tab G Toastmaster Ujjwal, and Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Jeevika. The President closed the meeting at 8:52 p.m., which was followed by the national anthem. Thank you, and back to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. Do we have any amendments to the minutes? If not, I will consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1174. It is said that humor is the spice of life. And all of us have many ups and downs in our lives, and many a time it's humor that helps us to cope and move on. And sometimes when wisdom is imparted through humor, through a touch of humor, it's more impactful and well taken. This was very much evident in the court of our kings in the back in time. They patronized jesters and appointed them as advisors in their courts. These jesters had the license to indulge in jibes at the local people, the courtiers, and sometimes even the king himself. We all know about Tenali Rama in the court of King Krishnadevaraya, and of course Birbal, who was known for his clever jokes in the court of Akbar. These jesters managed to convey both wisdom and criticism with the help of humor. The jester, with his gimmicks, would make the king be aware of his follies without hurting his sentiments as well. And we still enjoy the stories of Tenali Rama and Birbal, which is still relevant till today. I would like to tell one such story today. There once lived a man called Ramaya in the town of Vijayanagar. It was believed that anyone who saw his face first thing in the morning would not be able to eat anything throughout the day. So all the people avoided him all the time because they thought he was jinxed. King Krishnadevaraya also came to know about this, and he ordered him to be brought to the palace and made him stay in an adjacent room to his own living quarters for a night. The next morning, the king saw Ramaya's face first thing in the morning. Later on, he went to have his lunch. As he sat down to eat his food, he noticed a fly in the food. And then he discarded the food and ordered for fresh food to be prepared once again. However, by the time the food was prepared, he had lost his appetite and he did not want to eat anymore. Then the king realized that whatever people said about Ramaya was true and he was indeed jinxed. So he ordered his soldiers to hang Ramaya immediately. As Ramaya was being led towards the gallows, they met Tenali Rama on the way. Tenali Rama came to know what had transpired, and he whispered something in Ramaya's ears before he was taken away. Later on, when Ramaya was asked what his last wishes were before he was going to be hanged, he said he had a message for the king. He said, if anyone who sees me first thing in the morning lose their appetite that day, then anyone who sees the king's face first thing in the morning is destined to lose his life that day. If I am jinxed, then so is the king, and even more than me, because losing a life is more serious than losing your appetite. So when Krishnadevaraya heard this message, he was actually very shocked and he was ashamed of his own ignorance. Then he realized what he did was not right, and he ordered the execution to be stopped immediately. So this is how Tenali Rama's wisdom saved Ramaya's life, and the king was also made to realize his folly. And of course, we do encounter many comic situations in our daily lives, and more so when you do not know a language and you try to perceive it as you think it is right, which most of us do many a time. And I am reminded of this time when I moved to Hyderabad after I got married because my husband was living there. I was not very fluent in Telugu, and it was also very difficult to understand the pure Telugu they spoke in Hyderabad those days. This was back in the 90s. It's not like our Bangalore Telugu where they mix up everything and speak together. And there the vendors would come in front of the house selling fruits and vegetables, and I would go out and like point out whatever I want to buy and buy, because some of the meanings I did not know also. So that was very convenient for me. And one day I was inside the house and I heard someone outside, some seller actually, shouting apple, apple, like how they do the vendors. Then as I wanted to buy apple, I went out and stopped him. To my surprise, he was actually selling fish. And he was calling out chapel, chapel, which means fish in Telugu. And I heard it as apple, actually. So I do cherish all these memories till date. To tell us more about the theme and to take the meeting forward, we have a Toastmaster who is an electrical engineer and works for Qualcomm. He's a past president of our club and is known for his wit and humor in his speeches. He's also a singer by passion. So please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Toastmaster Balaji CS.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, Madam President, for the lovely speech. I only wish I had seen someone like Ramaya much earlier, so that he would have been my diet coach, so that I stopped eating a lot. But any which ways, that was a very thoughtful speech there, where you use humor as a means to, impart life lessons to people. I always tell to myself, don't take yourself seriously. Because whenever I start taking myself seriously, there is a bunch of negative emotions which come along with it. Ego, superiority or inferiority complex, frustration, anger. So I always tell myself, don't ever take yourself seriously. This is a lesson which I keep telling myself again and again because it's very, very tough to master. Because at some point of time, you achieve something small, then you think you are some big deal. But actually you are not, because your inner heart knows who you are really. One such things which has helped me all along the way has been the fact that I always laugh at myself whenever I do something dumb. It might not be right at the moment, because that moment it might be very serious for me to laugh at. But probably a few months or a few years later, when I look back, I ask myself, Balaji, how come you were so dumb? So that's how I always try to stay grounded by laughing at myself and not taking myself seriously. 2 years back, I got married. Something which my mom actually literally lost hope because of the way I was talking to the prospective brides. She thought like this guy is gonna be alone forever. But anyways, there was this lovely girl I found, and she was great. She was beautiful. She was smart. She was funny. Everything was great. The only red flag was she said okay to me. I thought there must be something wrong with her. How on earth is she saying okay to me? But anyways, now somehow or the other I tricked her into marrying me. Now there is no taxis, so she's like locked for life. But during this initial phase of marriage, there is this phase where you get to know each other. Right? So it's not like the person right from day one. Even after 30 years today, even my mom is still knowing things about dad and vice versa. So you always have things to learn about the partner, and obviously it's even more so when it is like you're freshly into marriage. During this phase, I told myself, I should not make a fool of myself in front of her. I need to have this, some kind of, this kind of a coat suit kind of aura in front of her. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be possible because I'm going to stay with her forever. She was obviously going to find the real me, but I didn't want it to be too soon. So during this phase of life, opposite to us were neighbors whom we had known for many years, right? These guys, I never noticed them twice before. But of late, there was this small nuisance which was cropping up. They had 2 kids at their home. One guy was 5th standard and the other guy was 9th standard. And these days now suddenly started thinking like they are going to become the next Virat Kohlis and Sachin Tendulkars of India. And full day they started playing cricket. I don't have a problem with them playing cricket. They can play whatever they want. But the problem was they were playing in the common hallway. And my mom was always this pacifist. She said, no, we have known them for many years. You can't have any confrontation with them. So we let them play. And she also subtly hinted, no, next tomorrow you will also have kid. That time the kid goes out and plays, you can't do anything. Such societal pressures. But anyway, choice. But I had to let it go. Sorry for that. But anyway, even during important calls, even in work from home, these days used to shout, play and all that. I had to like keep myself calm and ensure that I was not making a big deal out of this. One day, what happened was suddenly our calling bell made a huge sound and suddenly it stopped working. I went out and saw there was nothing out there. Like there was absolutely no clue of anyone being there, but there was a huge crack on the calling bell. I was pretty sure that these guys had only broken it, but the fact that they had the audacity to just escape, they thought that they will get away with it. And the next day, the matters became even worse because I couldn't get up because the milkman didn't press the doorbell and the milk got spoiled. I was super annoyed with these days. I was thinking a lot of things. Even if these people go on to become great cricketers, in their interview they will say there is this guy who never allowed us to play, but still we came out and played. But we only know we have lost the milk, we have to go out again and buy new back. Right? But any which ways, now because I was married, this new thing like you're a family man, right? I can't push things to my father and ask him to get it done because I had this orientation before marriage where my dad and mom said, now you have to take responsibility of the house, you have to pay the bills, you have to go out, get the groceries and all that. Now this fell into my bucket, right? I have to go and get the new bill. Now I had to go get the new bill. Fortunately, it was not like asked to fit, even though I'm an electrical engineer, I called an electrician. But anyways, I called these guys but still there was a lot of work to be done. I told myself enough is enough. You can't keep doing this. Next time they play, I'm going to go to them, I'm going to confront them, and I'm going to ask them to like either go out and play or go home. And I was secretly wishing that they didn't play again because even I don't like confrontations. But since I told that I had to go and confront them, I had to do it the very next day because they started playing exactly 9 p.m. in the evening. I opened the door. These guys were playing as though like I was just right next to them, but they were still playing. They didn't even like value me as a human right there. I subtly asked them, guys, like, don't you think it's getting late? People would want to sleep. You people are like normally warming up for a full game of cricket. Then this guy told something. But the most important thing he told me was he started the phrase uncle. Like my whole life stopped there for a moment. My newlywed wife was standing right behind, and this guy had the audacity to call me uncle in front of her. I got extremely angry, but I was also super. The one thing which I didn't want to happen was to not make a fool of myself in front of my wife. That has happened because this random guy called me uncle, and he is not even that young. He was like almost going to go to 10th, but I couldn't say anything. I just I forgot what the original problem was. I just came and said. To make matters worse, my mom and my wife ganged up and started calling me uncle the whole night, even like further add fuel to fire. I was very angry with the whole situation, but the next day, my wife gave a suggestion to get back at the kids. She told, next time you see their mom, you call her auntie. So that since your kid is calling you uncle, you can call her auntie. Then that was the day I realized like, yeah, she's the right person for me because like, she is able to catch my drift. So even though at that point of time, I was extremely angry with the whole situation. Looking back right now, I just helped me, give a speech of literally nothing, right? Just like trying to keep you guys engaged with something, which is actually I genuinely found it for me because at that point, even though I was angry, I found it to be a humorous encounter in my life. I would love to say similarly 100 years back, but that is not the case. This is not a humorous encounter. There was something very, very serious which was tried upon in the year of 1924 in Santa Ana, California by someone called Ralph C. Spenny. He wanted to address the serious problem of the fear of public speaking so that people like me can come and at least rattle for 2 or 3 minutes without having a lot of difficulty. So here he was this visionary who wanted to start this movement called the Toastmasters International. And today, this movement is there in more than 149 countries, 15,800 clubs, and we have more than 3 lakh members as part of Toastmasters International. A typical meeting will have 3 parts to it. The first part is called the prepared speech session, where you are given ample time. Normally people don't take that much time, but still you are given ample time to prepare for a speech and come and give it behind the lectern. You are supposed to follow your particular pathways manual. The second speech is called the table topic session, where people are called at random and they have to respond to a topic externally. And finally, the third session is where the general proceedings are evaluated. To take this meeting forward, we have very few important role takers who will help a smooth functioning of this meeting. While I call their name out, I request them to come behind the lectern and explain what exactly they will do. The first role taker will be the timer, Toastmaster.
Morning, everyone. It's not morning, it's evening. Good evening, all the Toastmasters and your guests who are present here. And I'll be taking a timer today. The time is very important in our life, in spite of age, gender, wherever we go for interview or cooking time, especially with the school times we have suffered. Kiddos, get up, you have to go to school. Kiddos, get up, the van has come. Kiddos, come, go do the homework, finish your homework. It's time to lunch, it's time to breakfast, it's time for dinner. So everything it is dependent on time. Even if you go late for an interview, sorry, you're late, it's over. So there ends the one interview. Now I'll be taking as a timer role and call out for the 3 sessions. One is a prepared speech session, that is 5 minutes. I'll be showing the green card, and 5 minutes 30 seconds I'll be showing the yellow card, and 6 minutes I'll be showing the yellow card, and 7 minutes I'll be showing the red card. Now table topic session, it will be 1 minute I'll be showing the green card. By end of 1 minute 30 seconds I'll be showing the yellow card, and by end of 2 minutes I'll be showing the red card. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Next, I would request our R counter for the day, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra.
Dear Toastmasters, welcome here. The purpose of our counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as a crutch by any of the speakers during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds like I'll give my report during evaluation when called upon. Thank you, and back to you, MC.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our grammarian Toastmaster Monish to explain.
Very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So we all understand how important grammar is in any language. So today, as a role of a grammarian, I would be making note of the good usages and the not so good usages. And the word of the week is ameliorate, which means to make something better. One way of using it is scratching your eye will not ameliorate the itching. I would advise all the speakers here to use the word like our Sergeant at Arms did, and I'll give my report at the end of it. Thank you.
Finally, the parliamentary procedures evaluator, Toastmaster Bhavin is here.
Very happy evening, everyone. As a parliamentary procedure evaluator, I'll be evaluating the following points. Please refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. Please enter and exit only during applause. Kindly put your phones on silent mode. I'll be giving 10 seconds to do so. I kindly request the online audience to switch on their videos throughout the meeting. I'll be giving my report at the general evaluation session. Thank you, and back to you.
Let's quickly dive into our first session, the prepared speech session. The first speaker is attempting a level 1, project 2, speech 1. I request the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Sai Snehal, to read out the project elements.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The speaker is attempting the evaluation and feedback first part of this project. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Notes for the evaluator. The member has spent time writing a speech to present at the club meeting. And note to the general evaluator, I have received the feedback form well in advance. Thank you and back to the market.
Our speaker is currently working in the HRD at Infocon. She has done a diploma in counseling skills from Banjara Academy. She has a versatile interest and is passionate about life. She is also a voracious reader. With a speech titled Miss You Not Forever, Missed You Not Forever, please welcome the speaker, Toastmaster Untitled.
The world would have been a chaotic place, but for the angels who walk among us. Choti is 52 years of age, mother of 3 daughters. She would have been lost forever to some orphanage or to some God-forsaken place. If. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. It was the year 1972. My mother and we 3 sisters were traveling by train from Girdih in Bihar to Bangalore to attend my grandmother's funeral ceremony. My elder sister, Veena, was then 7 years old. Mind you, she was called Didi then and still holds the title. I am Jude, myself 5 years, and my younger sister, Sapna, was 2 years old. We call her Jude. It was 3 days long journey and so long hours of sitting and waiting. Choti was screaming and wearing off her throat for no apparent reason, sitting on my mother's lap. My mother was trying to calm her down. Me and my Didi, were sitting together, watching out from the window at the beautiful scenery pass by and reciting, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, or the poem, Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? And so on, we kept on repeating reciting the poems. The train slowed down as the station was approaching. Abruptly, Didi jumped off her seat, rushed to mother and pulled her to accompany her to the washroom. My mother got up, put Choti beside me, with a finger on her lip, told her to sit quietly until she returns. She handed me her big fawn-colored handbag and told me to keep it tight and safe. Now I was the big girl in charge of the kid and the important bag. Hardly few minutes passed when Choti started getting restless for mother and started whining. I frowned at her and told her to keep quiet till mother returns. A moment passed and Choti jumped from the seat and said, I'm going in search of mom. I was torn between running behind her or holding on to the important purse. The little me remembered mother's instruction to me was to hold on to the purse and not to throw. The instruction was given to Choti to sit beside me quietly. So I let her go. The train stopped. There was hustle bustle of people coming in and off the train. Amongst the crowd, I saw mother pushing her way towards her seat, holding on to Didi's hand and coming to me. I was full of smiles, my chest puffed up, awaiting for mother's appreciation, words of appreciation and gentle smile. Instead, she asked, where is Choti? My smile froze. I tried to come out from the important pride of the important bag that still owned in my hand and realized Choti was missing. My mother snatched the purse. She dragged me and Didi and practically went up and down the compartment, searching, peeping up and down each bird, screaming out, Choti, Choti, but Choti was not to be found. We even went to the washroom to see, but she was not there. My mother ran, pulling us to the doors of the train. She scanned and looked at the platforms, shouting for Choti, but she was not to be seen. My mother looked at us and was about to get down the train when the green signal came up. I saw tears swelling up in my mother's eyes, the unshed tears about to roll down her cheeks. Her lips quivered. I saw she was sad. I started crying. He looked at me fiercely and frowned at me. Hearing my cry, a porter passing by stopped, looked at my mother, and then at the two sisters. He stayed as far for a longer time. And then he said, "Are you looking for a ticket?" My mother, with glitter of hope, said, "Yes, yes." He said, "I'll be back in a jiffy," and he ran away. The train made a sound. It jerked. But the porter too was not to be seen. The train again started. The engine whistled. The train made a sound. And a moment later, the train started. But the porter was not to be seen. The train started moving. My mother started sobbing. I started howling. And then we saw him. We saw him like a gust of wind, carrying Choti in his arms and running towards our train. As the train gained momentum, he thrust Choti into my mother's arm and breathlessly said, she was standing near the door and crying. Someone saw her, picked up and was taking her to the exit of the station. And then his voice trailed away as the train sped off the station. My mother held her to the bosom and all four of us huddled back to our seat, crying, laughing at the same time, clinging to each other. Dear Toastmasters, it's 50 years past since the incident happened on this earth. If there were good and helpful people then, I believe even today there are such wonderful heroes and angels walking among us today and will always be there with us. Thank you, and over to the Toastmasters.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster, for the lovely speech. For a minute, I forgot I was the MC and I had to With this, let us move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is attempting level 1, project 2. I request the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Shiva Prasad, to read out the project elements.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The speaker is attempting level 1, project 2, and the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a well-defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Notes for the evaluator: the member completing this project is working to write a speech with purpose. The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their expressed purpose statement with a well-executed speech. About this speech, the member will present a well-organized, well-delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. The length of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker and acquaintance.
Our next speaker is a designer by profession. She calls herself an optimist who loves to experiment, and she's a learner forever. With a speech titled Curves of Life, please welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Bhavani.
Smile is a curve that sets many things straight. With that hope, I wish you a very happy evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm not a graduate in mathematics nor an architect to speak about curves, but I do spend so many hours in a day understanding the curves, creating curvy patterns, and actually producing curvy products, three-dimensional curvy things every day. I'm a women's wear designer, and this is my bond with curves. I look up to nature for the inspiration. The fruits, flowers, birds, animals, anything would inspire me to do my work. As I observe, I got obsessed. The more I observe, I was surprised to know only curvy patterns are there in the nature, not even single long straight lines. Isn't that amazing? Have you ever observed that? From a drop of rain to the humongous waves in the ocean, from the tiny creature to the huge mammoth, and the blade of grass to the widespread forest, everything is in curvy form in the nature. I was intrigued. Why? What's the advantage of a curvy line over a straight line? As a designer, I want to know the usage of curved lines over the straight lines, and to understand how the dynamics of curves flow along with nature. And to comprehend it, I went through through online some websites. I understood the three principles that cause the curvy nature in everything in the nature. The first principle is that the nature always takes the path of least resistance. Since curvy path itself is a smooth transition with less friction. And the second principle, nature uses only the energy it needs, and it relies on the energy that's freely available. For example, the cell in our body are round in shape to reduce the cell membrane. But don't think nature is confused. The third rule, the nature is infinite and abundant. To point B in a straight line may be just one possibility, but in a curvy lines, it's infinite. If it's difficult for you to believe that small, simple lines has so much intelligence in that, I'll ask you to observe a curvy line in a financial report. Isn't that says a lot about the company functioning, where it is heading? Thinking of the financial reports, many startups always dream of a J curve in their financial report. But the fact is, anything new inventions will take an S curve in the S curve. And there is everybody knows the famous bell curve that says everything goes up, might fell down. But don't be discouraged, dear Toastmasters. I learned that there is another curve, a special curve that actually actual and perpetual growth. That is the upward spiral. We may hit into bumps and potholes, but that's all in the process. That's all in the process of growing. Once we complete one revolution, we may find some other new challenges and struggles. But in that upward curve, we will be back with momentum, and we'll be a better person we'll be more stronger, we'll be more resilient. Saying so much that I love curves, I'm wearing a dress with straight lines. Because straight line is a human invention. And our human brain thinks straight line is more effective because straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. That's why we designers opt for a straight line for many farmers. I learned this interesting point from TED Talks. I think many of our Toastmasters do love TED Talks. When I saw that for the first time, I couldn't imagine myself in a TED Talk, giving a TED Talk, because my thought was directly connecting me in a straight line, me to TED Talks. But now I took a curvy path through Toastmasters, and probably with many, many revolutions, I could really dream of even I'm able to give a TED Talk. Thank you and back to you.
Looking forward to hearing it also. We'll move on to our third speaker for today. The third speaker is attempting level 3 project 1. I request the individual evaluator Toastmaster A.S. Balaji to read out the questions.
This evening, Toastmasters. Speaker today is attempting a level 3 project. The purpose statement is as follows. The purpose of this project is for the member to understand the types of persuasive speeches, and the speaker here can deliver a persuasive speech in any style of his choosing. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, and back to the Toastmaster.
Our next speaker is a BCom graduate from Jain University and is currently working at Pricewaterhouse. He's a dog lover and a stock market enthusiast. His dream is to travel all around India and try all adventurous sports. The speaker is a past Associate Secretary, VPPR, VPM of our club, and is our current VP Education. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker with a speech titled, Whom Do We Call a Gentleman? Whom do we call a gentleman? Toastmaster Gaurav Bhargava.
A very good evening, everybody, Master Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and all the guests present today. When I have a raise of hands, if you ever heard of this term called gender equality, I'm sure everyone would have heard of this term. It basically means a woman and men are treated equal. But in fact, there are still so many stereotypes in our society that are being forcefully pressurized on us to follow it without even our consent. Like, for example, a girl is not supposed to step out of the house after 10 o'clock, but a guy can step out whenever he wants and enter the house whenever he can. Or a girl is not supposed to ride bikes or play with guys' toys. And that the rules goes on and on. In fact, if as all the ladies are present in today's meeting, we give few stereotypes that you have faced in your life. I'm sure I'm going to get a huge list in my hand. But nowadays, it's kind of difficult to be even a guy. Because there are few stereotypes and there are few restrictions, there are few expectations from a society towards a guy. And a guy like me won't be able to live up to that expectations. I'd like to give my own life examples. From my childhood, I've never been a fan of chocolate flavors. Let it be cake or ice cream, I don't like chocolate. So once when I was in school, I went to my school canteen and I bought one strawberry flavored ice cream. And I was enjoying my ice cream. So few of my friends all started laughing. So I asked them, what's so funny? Can you please share that joke with me as well? So one of my friends tells me, you are having a strawberry ice cream, which is pink in color. That's a woman's ice cream. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I had that ice cream wrapper with me. So I picked it up, started reading. I haven't mentioned anywhere that it's a girl's flavor. Then I'm like, there's nothing mentioned, just what the MRP is mentioned here. Like, okay, few believe that this is a woman's flavor. What is a guy's flavor according to you? So he pops up pictures and he tells me, I have a chocolate ice cream. That's a gentleman's flavor. And this is still followed in our society. Like if you go to any fancy ice cream parlors like Polar Bear or Corner House, if you look at the chocolate flavored ice cream names, the names will be like Death by Chocolate, Chocolate Bloodbath. Just by adding death, the blood, people started believing that this is a guy's flavor. Have you ever heard of any ice cream flavors called death by strawberry or mango blood clot. No, it's only chocolate. So recently I've been on dates. I'm grown up enough to go on dates now. Even I'm a bit surprised. So I recently been on a date. So I took her out for lunch. And after lunch, the person I was with, she told me she wanted to have an ice cream for dessert. And me being a nice guy, I took her to the nearest ice cream. The parlor had 30 varieties of ice cream. I can't choose even one, there are 30 types. So I was scanning through the menu. The ice cream I wanted to have was called Summer Breezes. Now I am with that girl I'm meeting for the very first time. I have no idea how on earth I'm going to order ice cream called Summer Breezes. Because all my friends have told me, brother, you're going for a date. Come on, first impression is the best impression. Give your best impression. Pop your chest and come back home. So I had two options in my head. First one, forget the ice cream that you wanted to have and just order one chocolate ice cream. Somehow struggle, finish it off and come back home with a pop chest. Or else the second option was, come on man, this is 21st century. You seriously think that she will get to order ice cream for Summer Breezes? Just look at her face. She looks very mature. Come on, you're the one who's going to enjoy the ice cream, not her. So just go for it. So I chose the second option, which was a very big mistake. So I go towards the counter with full confidence and say, excuse me, sir, can I have one Summer Princess, please? She gives me one judgmental look. And that gave me a thought, this is a game over. But then I had to calm down myself, saying, it's okay, one bad impression. Till now, you have given your 20 best impressions. One bad impression, she's not forget it. Come on. Then I could see what all toppings were added on my ice cream. They added a little bit of cherries, these dry fruits. At the end, they added a little bit of sprinkles, that's not. Then again went towards the counter like a stupid fellow and I said, sir, can you add please little bit more sprinkles? She gives me one more judgmental. And that gave me, a green signal saying that she's never gonna give me a call again. And this will be the last time I'm gonna see her face and trust me what that is what happened. And it's not just ice cream. When you go to, if you look at cosmetics, I'm sure everyone would have been to a supermarket. And if you go to the face wash section, you'll find some 3 to 4 big shelf of face wash made for women. And all women's face wash are made of fruity flavors. Banana, mango, papaya, apple, sitapal, all fruits have been taken by women. And no fruits are left for men. Next to the shelf, you'll find one big shelf with all black color bottles where you've written charcoal face wash made for men. Just by reading the top, the man is charcoal face wash. I've never been a fan of this charcoal face wash because I've tried once. Once I used the charcoal face wash, my face started burning. So I used the fruity flavored face wash which is made for men. And people judge me for that. Like, what kind of face wash are you using? I'm like, brother, that's my skin type. I cannot do it. I'm a very emotional guy, and when I get emotional, I tend to cry. I cannot control my feelings. And I'm sure most of the guys would have heard to this statement when you were a kid by your parents or your elders that stop crying like a girl. Be the man you're supposed to be. Just because Amitabh Bachchan told in one of his movies, Murd ko kabhi dard nahi hota hai, doesn't mean it's actually true. Come on, we are not robots. We are, in fact, humans here, and we have something called emotions. It's okay for a guy to cry. And I have observed, we have learned this from when we were kids. It's basically our parents' generation have passed on these stereotypes to us. Now, we being the future for the next upcoming generation, it's up to us to ensure that we don't carry forward these stereotypes to the next generation. Come, who all are with me? Come. So, in fact, teaching them that a true gentleman is the one who has six-pack body, wears tight t-shirt with full muscles. I know gentleman is a very strong word, doesn't mean you have a very strong physique. But let's teach them that a true gentleman is the one who always raises up when he sees there's something wrong happening around. A true gentleman is the one who is always ready to help people who are in need. A true gentleman is the one who believes that taking care of the house is not just the responsibility of a woman, but it's also the responsibility of a man as well. A true gentleman is the one who believes that whatever a man can do, a woman can do as well. Let's ensure that let us not fix some rules and regulations for a particular gender. Let us give the opportunity for particular individual to come up with his own organized rules and regulations and follow it to their entire life. With this practice masters.
Actually, thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. The speech has been a revelation for me. I actually feel that in the hindsight, I find that the young kid calling me uncle is actually correct because I'm not even able to relate to half the things you said. Stereotype about ice creams and stuff. I just go have whatever I want. Now only I came to realize there is man and women's ice creams. and this Marco Datne hota works both ways. Now, whenever I have a bad day at the office, my wife is like, cry, it's okay, cry. I don't want to cry. Just like, no, you should cry, it's okay. Men can cry, so it's kind of a very touchy subject. Maybe our G will throw the whole night on the table. We'll move on to the next session, the table topic session. The table topic master for today is currently pursuing BCom and Chartered Accountancy course. She loves singing and is very passionate about the subject Sanskrit. She is taking professional Sanskrit exams and she loves baking and sketching. Adding to this, she is also taking calligraphy classes. Please help me welcome the multi-talented and enthusiastic table topic master for today, Toastmaster Shalini.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Toastmaster Balaji. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to a fun-filled and the most exciting part of Toastmaster session, that is the table topic session. Believe me, it is a great feeling of being a table topic master and having the privilege to pick the topic and the speaker and not being on the other side and thinking what topic the table topic master can give me. When will he call me? So I'll be explaining the objectives. The main objective of this is we can think quickly, independently in a given stipulated time, which will help us a lot in our actual lives. It will also help us to think spontaneously and respond to any topic in our lives also. For the benefit of the guest, I will be explaining how this session works. So when a topic is given, when the topic is given, the response to the topic should be at least for a minute and not more than 2 minutes. We will be seeing a green signal from the timer at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. So I will be dividing my session into 2 segments. So this is what happens when I see a lot of corporate current. Coming to the first segment, I will be putting the speakers in a situation and they have to talk about their take on the topic. So without further ado, let's start. So the first topic is, if you had an opportunity to travel from 2022 to the year 1947, what will be your views? And this goes to DTM MU1.
Madam Topic Master, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Our topic master wants me to go on a time machine, going back from 2022 to 1947. Incidentally, 1947 is 1 year before I was born. I was born in 1948. So probably it will be even bigger challenge for me to be in 1947. Because when I traveled from 1947, at least from 1948 to 2022, I can see what I have seen, the changes around happening around the world. But what was there in the situation of the country in 1947? Now it is all the more important because 1947 is the year in which we got independence. And it is 75 years now. And when I go to 1947, I would probably, if I was there, and if I was in a position to think myself and doing something, probably I would have thought, today the Britishers have given us independence, or we have taken it from independence, however they look at it. But what is going to be a future of our country? Will it be what our leaders are envisaging, or the short-sightedness and the politics, whatever is going to happen in future, is going to mark that? Actually, that was the fear I would be having in the year of 1947. But probably if I come back, fast forward today,
I feel that probably one of the worries is coming true today. After 75 years, we are not able to come together in one. Even we are finding that there are persons, someone wants to do good for the country. There are at least some 100 people trying to pull this back down. This is what we are saying, without mixing politics into the subject. What the purpose, very purpose for which we have got independence, that is not being met in full because we are not together. Only I can hope that whatever our dream was done in 1947, that we should all come together and develop this country into a real great nation. Probably that will at least come to, if not in 22, at least in 2050. That's only my dream now. Let's hope for the best. Back to Madam.
Thank you, DT and MU, for that wonderful take on the topic. It was very insightful. So moving on, we've all dreamt of meeting that one celebrity, spending a day with them. So the next topic is a day out with Deepika Padkar goes to Toastmaster Vishesh.
Master, dear guests, and Toastmasters. So, Deepika Padkar. So I feel Deepika right now is married, so it's fine for me to just spend a day just knowing her more than anything. So if I get a chance, I could also star in a movie with her. So so talk about her life and what's happened, how she's come up from scratch, because her dad's into more of sports, and her own sister is also into sports. So probably know more about their life and how they've come up and why her role is in acting and how she took it up on her own. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishesh, for that amazing response. I guess if we would have had that opportunity, we all would have done that. Yesterday was 7th of August, and it was a very meaningful day to celebrate friendship and to be grateful to our friends. I'm sure each one of us have a team of friends. So the next topic is value friendship, which goes to Toastmaster Pavni. Thank you so much for the topic. She literally gave me that topic because we are really close and she wants me to talk about this topic today and to overcome my fear, of course. Value of friendship. Friendship, I would say, is just a bond that we have with one another. We spend a lot of time. Actually, coming to my case, I had no more friends in my childhood days. In school, there was one bestie, so she is there for me till now. At any time, we always meet up when we are free. And then in my college days, I had made a bunch of friends, and we still hang out, and we are still there in touch. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Pavni. I wanted you to talk about you. How many of us here have heard the song Kesariya from the movie Brahmastra? Okay. So the next topic is your reaction to the song Kesariya and the phrase love story, which goes to Toastmaster Sanchana. Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. So from the past few weeks, there has been a constant rant saying that why is the word love story plugged into such a beautiful song? Previously, a snippet of that song was made into like thousands of reels, and which we all of us are bored of scrolling through. And we did find an alternate solution. Even the Bollywood biggies have found the alternate solution, that is listening to the Kannada version of Kesariya, which seems to be very beautiful, and that is a song sung by Sanjit Hegde. He just ameliorated the whole song, and so this is the way we could, make amends with the song, and nothing could take away such a beautiful song, even that small word which could, destroy the whole aura of the song. So we did find a solution, that is listening to the Kannada or any other South Indian language version of the same song. And back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana. It was amazing. Okay, this is the end of the first segment. Coming to the second segment, I have picked up some phrases, some lines from different famous songs. So I would want you to tell about your take on that. Now, moving ahead, the first topic or the line goes like this: Zindagi ek safar hai suhara, which also means life is a one beautiful journey, which goes to Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Thank you, Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. This is my first speech here behind this box. It is quite scary, let me tell you. So life is a beautiful journey. Zindagi ek safar definitely hai suhana. You have to experience everything as we grow up. We are little kids in our parents' laps. They teach us things. We learn how to love. We learn how to experience different emotions. We, go to school. We pick up. We learn how to make friends. We learn how to socialize. As we grow up, we face different important decisions of our life, what to do with our lives, what to study, what to make of ourselves. And so life goes on and we learn important things about entering relationships. As we grow older, we find life partners. That's good. I've been very lucky that way. So I have a wonderful life partner. So that is a beautiful experience. You move on further. I know a lot of you are really young, but then you have kids and you watch them grow up. All different experiences, all lovely. So that's my take on life. I think life is definitely wonderful. We should all experience it, live it to the full, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that amazing explanation of how beautiful life is. So coming to the next topic, it is Yenagali Mungesaguni. No matter what happens in your life, keep going ahead. Goes to DTM Udanka.
So this song, Yenagali Mungesaguni, it was from our own actor Steve. So this song was in a repeated playlist a couple of years back, and still is on the playlist. It had a beautiful meaning. Whatever happens to you in your life, don't give up. Don't just stop right there. Go ahead. Go ahead and pursue what you are planning for. You will have hurdles in your life. Ups and downs is mandatory. If you don't go through those ups and downs, you won't see a beautiful life next. I can relate this to one physics experiment where a ball is left on a straight rod and it has come an up and down rod. So the ball which has gone through the up and down reaches first, then the straight one. So that itself indicates our life has hurdles. If you pass through hurdles, we get going faster in our life, and that's how we can relate easily to physics and us, and even the song Yenagali Mungesaguni. So it was really a melody song, I could say. It gave me some good aura or pursue things, and it gives motivation also for people to pursue what they want to do. So again, requesting all from my end and telling it to myself, don't stop, no matter what happened to you, achieve your goal and you will find success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Udanka. That is much needed motivation. And I've started believing in the theory that whatever happens, happens for good. So coming to the next topic, these lines are very close to my heart and it motivates me the most. It is Safar Khubsurat Hai Manzil Se Bhi, which means the journey is more beautiful than the destination. Goes Toastmaster Ujjwal.
Very happy to one not present here. So the topic assigned to me is the journey is more beautiful than the destination. I believe that you enjoy the journey more than the destination you want to reach. No matter what adversities you face along that path you take, you have to, be resilient and reach your destination.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujjwal, for inspiring us. We always have to keep thinking about the destination. We should also understand that we should enjoy the process, we should enjoy the journey. It is much more beautiful than the destination. So the next one, the lines goes like this: Nagu Naguta, Nali Nali Yene Agali. Whatever happens in life, keep smiling. Goes to Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, who is always smiling.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome, guests. Nagu Naguta, Nali Nali Yene Agali. Definitely, it's a part of my life. In the year 1993, to be more precise, 1992 December, I came to the street, lost everything, and yet I did not lose my heart. I rebuilt. In the year 1998, again I went down. I did not lose my heart. Rebuilt again. In the year 2003, again I came down. This is all part and parcel of life. If failure were not to be there, we will not face the success part of it. No matter what it is, the internal capabilities one needs to understand. It is better to introspect one's own self rather than giving importance to the external world, external comments, whatever might be the things. Internally, we should have that capability. Understand that no matter what the situation is, failure should happen in life. Otherwise, we cannot become what we can be. All achievers in life have failed. Kentucky Chicken, you know what really story is all about. I did not say that. At the age of 65 years, he achieved something. At the age of 60, I joined Toastmasters to improve my communication skills, which is required for my present professional requirement. So I am in front of you. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for that great take on the topic. I think we all have forgotten smiling and started overthinking. If we make a point that we smile, half the problem is solved there. Coming to the next topic, it is give me some sunshine, give me some rain, give me another chance, I want to grow up once again, which is very close to all our hearts, and it goes to Toastmaster Monish.
Very good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, and thank you, Table Topic Master, for this. That's an interesting picture. We all know what that is, right? So I think this applies to our generation because in digitalization, we always wanted to grow up. We always wanted to be responsible. So we started, doing things before our time. So I think now we realize that we should have gone slow. We should have had fun. We shouldn't have used our phones or whatever gadgets we've been using, wasting our time, sitting at home. I think we should have all, skipped that. We realize that now. But we feel better by looking at the kids now. Who are still young. They're even more worse than us. Yeah. So we have literally I've had cousins who COVID. So they haven't gone out of their house for 2 years and they've been watching TV, playing PlayStations. And they can't go out anymore. So because they don't know how to socialize, they're just scared. And they can't socialize even when we go to their place, right? So they can't speak because they haven't been to that. So I feel it's very sad, but I think when you compare it to them, we've had a better time. But when you still compare it, it could have been better for us. We could have stayed out more often, right? So I think that is my take on it, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish, for that amazing response. I feel that than regretting of what has happened in the past, we have to just realize and celebrate life and see how beautiful it is and not make life complicated. With this, it comes to an end of a wonderful session. I have had so much fun. I've got so much inspired. I'm taking so much back home. I hope all of you had a great time listening to these amazing speakers. Thank you, and back to you, MC.
Thank you, Evaluator Toastmaster, for that amazing session. I hope everyone had a great time. With this, we will have a quick networking break and be back soon. I guess we don't have much time. We're already behind on schedule, so let's keep it short. 10 minutes. Okay. Who is going to be our general evaluator, and I'm pretty honored to re-invite the person back to our club. As a learning and organizational change specialist, the GE works with individuals and teams to help them unlearn, learn and relearn most essential skills needed for the corporate. He works mainly on this subject called VUCA, VUCA, or what it basically stands for is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. With regards to his Toastmasters journey, I mean, he's a decent speaker, I would say. He only could go only to the semi-finals of the international speech competition. I don't know what happened, he could have got the finals, but anyways, that doesn't take anything away from what a decent speaker he is. But I'm really thrilled to have him back in our club, and I'm pretty sure all of us are going to learn a lot from our general evaluator today. Please welcome the general evaluator for today, Toastmaster.
From one decent speaker to another, thank you so much. Moderately funny MC Balaji. So I read this quote that said, failures are for reflecting, learning, and to be forgotten, not dwelled upon and held on. Failures are for reflecting, learning, and let go. And successes on the other side, learn, hold back, and rejoice. So in today's G session, if there are points that we can learn from, so let's reflect on it, learn it, and let go of the failures, but the successes, you can keep them in mind and call back to them whenever you're feeling low. Yes. Okay, having said that, humorous encounters. I believe our MC has done an excellent, should I say, moderate job about the topic so far. I will dive right into the evaluation. A crisp business meeting. It was on the job. The role takers were asked for the next meeting. General suggestion, I'm sure the committee can take this into a discussion and then come out with an outcome. I believe that once the president is introduced on stage, it has to be a momentous occasion. The significance of the president coming here to the lectern before being introduced and going and sitting back down there and again being reintroduced sort of takes away from the suspense and the impact the president has the first time he or she speaks from the lectern. So the committee can review if it's possible to have the business meeting right from the table. So that gives the opportunity for the sergeant at arms to introduce the president, and the president can come over and then kickstart the meeting. That's a little suggestion that the committee can consider. The sergeant at arms was on the job. I think that's exactly what is needed of the sergeant. had a nice anecdote about the incident, kept it crisp, and introduced the president in a warm, genuine way. I've seen sergeants going outrageous with their introduction. The president of and then it's just, it doesn't suit the occasion. What we need is a sincere, genuine, upbeat introduction. I think you did that excellently well. If there's one area that can be explored, the sergeant's role is to grab everyone's attention, right? Grab everyone's attention and then raise the energy of the meeting and then welcome the president. A lot of energy work happens not just by words, but by your body language, but by variation of your voice. So if that can be experimented upon in your future, I'm sure you have a whole term of introducing the president. That will be something that you can experiment with. You have the content locked in. If you can vary the range of how you speak with your body language and voice to welcome the president, I'm sure that'll be great. Can we have a huge round of applause for the sergeant? Needless to say, all of you, please be ready to applaud freely and generously. The session is about applause, right? And some feedback, I guess, which you can reflect, learn, and forget, as I said. Minutes of the meeting read by Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. Excellent job done, very compact. I'm not sure if the minutes of the meeting needs to have names of the table topic speakers from the previous session. That is another practice. I don't know where that practice, there must be a reason for why that is in place. We can check on that. The committee can take a decision on that, because again, the idea of this Toastmasters meeting is once the sergeant, the whole gathering is here, the sergeant starts quick, brief introduction, the president takes over, which is where the real meeting kicks off, right? So the minutes of the previous meeting are very important to keep a track of how the meetings are progressing, but details to the level of what if tomorrow, I mean, hypothetical scenario, right? What if tomorrow the minutes of the meeting also include the durations of the table topic speakers, right? So there is no end. So what is the value add of the names of the table topic speakers of the previous meeting? I'm not sure. So we can review that. That's another suggestion I have. But for a job well done, can we give a huge round of applause for those masters? Applaud heartily. I see some people start applause and forget about it. Okay, let's keep it going. And now for the president, Toastmaster Lalana Murthy. I was really looking forward to your address, and I must add that I'm very happy with how you delivered your presidential address. I'm really excited for the term because of your presidential addresses. High quality address. You know, there are themes that the MC chooses, and everyone, when they look at the theme, they have their own interpretations of what the theme stands for, right? But when the president comes in, the president gathers all their interpretations and makes sense of the theme. When we think of humorous interactions, everyone would have thought about it in their own perspective. But thanks to the president's address, she made sense of it in such a simple way, added value to it, added some anecdotes to it. Because think about it, this could have very well been another 3 anecdotes from the president, right? But what adds value is making sense of the theme for the collective audience. And that is what the president did excellently well. If there's one suggestion, Toastmaster Lalana, you already are at a stage where you can fly with your presidential address. I saw you sort of hold back in terms of your gestures with the lectern. If you just make the decision to stand back and really connect with the audience, I'm sure you're already a high quality address will also deliver much more impact. So experiment with pauses, experiment with your presence on stage. So already the content is in place. How will I really take those pauses to connect and make that impact? It's the only area, if you may. Nothing to take away from the high quality address our president delivered. Please give her a huge. Toastmaster of the evening, Balaji. We are supposed to come back to that later, right? If it was very good, but so now I ask for the roll takers. Right, before that, should I? I'll also, when I remember, I'll remind you to vote for the best speaker and best evaluator and table topics.
Best table topics before the evaluation.
Before the evaluation. Okay, yes, please. Should I vote for it now? Please go for it. Vote for it now. Best table topic speaker and. Oh, not the evaluator. Is everyone done? You're quickly checking some WhatsApp messages. Please come back here. Okay, can we have the roll takers come over and share their observations? Can I have timer Toastmaster Namanda? Sure. Sorry, Toastmaster Namanda.
Thank you, Ajay, for letting me tell the time. The business session started at 6:39 p.m. So Sanjana's SSA spoke for 1 minute 16 seconds. President Lalana Murthy, she spoke for 6 minutes 30 seconds. Then introduction to the Toastmaster trainee Balaji. He spoke till now for 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Then report of the previous meeting, Shiv Prasad, he spoke for 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Master of Ceremonies and Speaker Jyoti Rao, she spoke for 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Pavani Kiran, she spoke for 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Gaurav, he spoke for 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Now coming to the table topics, Speaker 1, Toastmaster Evaluator, he spoke for 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Vishesh, he spoke for 1 minute and 1 second. Pavani Sia, she spoke for 51 seconds. Sanjana Pravanjana, she spoke for 1 minute and 22 seconds. Lakshmi, she spoke for 1 minute and 26 seconds. Vidya Priyanka spoke for 1 minute and 23 seconds. Ujjwal spoke for 30 seconds. Jay Pendra spoke for 1 minute and 48 seconds. Monish spoke for 1 minute and 22 seconds. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamata. If you all recollect Toastmaster Mamata's introduction to her role, she spoke about the importance of time in a very attractive way. I believe that is a job really well done. Can we give her a good round of applause? You actually modeled how an introduction for all of these tiny roles that actually make up the meeting and add so much value. So I'm sure all of us are grammarians and our counters so many times. We almost make it a routine to just stand up and blurt out the lines that are the role. But what's in it? What makes it special is when we add these creative introductions. It's a challenge on a personal level to find new ways of introducing the same role. And that is what makes this meeting special. In fact, you might not have the chance to be a GE or an MC or deliver a speech every meeting, but we all attend many meetings. So if we take this on as a personal challenge to have those creative introductions like Toastmaster Mamata today did, that's when I think the quality of a meeting goes to the next level and the quality of that role goes to the next level, which is why you did fantastic. And on the note about your name, I asked a certain Toastmaster. I was, let's just say, wrongly informed. You can ask me at a later, on a personal level, who that Toastmaster is. But you might very well know he's a moderately funny Toastmaster. Moving on, the R counters report from Toastmaster Evaluator.
Thank you, G. Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome guests once again. As an encounter, the challenge was very great because speakers spoke very well. Fantastic. Really. Now, going to the report, Balaji CS 3 Hours, Jyoti Rao 2 hours, Pavani Kiran 2 long passes, Gaurav Badri flawless, Sharanya Prasad 4 hours, DTM MU but flawless, Vishesh 1 hour and so many times, Pavani 3 hours, Sanjana 3 hours, Lakshmi 2 hours, DTM Udanka flawless, Vijay Upendra myself flawless, Monish flawless. I cross-checked with one of the Toastmasters. Ajay Chittaranjan till now 4 hours. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you for that honest and humble report as they are counted Toastmaster. Great job. Please give them a good round of applause. Let me have the minutes report by Toastmaster Monish.
Thank you, Toastmaster. A very good evening again. So, I'll get right to it. So, the word of the day, that is ameliorate, was used by 2 speakers, Toastmaster Sanjana, the Sergeant at Arms, and Toastmaster Sanjana again. So, can we have a round of applause for them? So, we had a couple of good usages. A few among them are walk among us, path of least resistance, actual and perpetual curve, and aura of the song. A couple of not so good usages were tell to myself could have been tell myself, freshly into marriage could have been newly married, myself 5 years could have been I was 5 years old. So I don't know if this applies, but one of the speakers said confused, which could have been selfish, and must fall down could have been must fall down. And with that, I come to the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish. That was well done and crisp. Ameliorate. Let me if I can find a way to ameliorate this. Ameliorate 6 times. Toast. Can we have a BP evaluators report by Toastmaster Paul?
Once again, a happy evening, everyone. I thoroughly observed throughout the meeting, and to the best of my knowledge, no one talked about sex, religion, and politics. Everyone entered and exited only during applause. There were no phones ringing. Everything went on flawlessly throughout the meeting. Thank you, and back to General Manager.
Toastmaster Pavni. I'm glad you. I remember there was a PP evaluator who was very upset that he or she did not have work because meeting went as per the norms. Thank God you seem upbeat that it went, as per plan. Can we give her and Toastmaster a round? Okay, it is time for the evaluators of the prepared speech session, which is, I think, the crux of this meeting. Can we have the evaluator for the first speech, Toastmaster Sai Sneha?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and Toastmaster Jyoti in particular. There is nothing more satisfying than a comeback, and a comeback which makes it worth its while. And Toastmaster Jyoti, you have set the benchmark for it, and your speech today was just the icing for it. I will evaluate your speech on 3 parts, that is, where you excel at, where you may want to work upon, and how you could do to challenge, what you can do to challenge yourself. Humor is something we try to include in our speech. Your speech today, although it was on a very serious note of the choti going missing, you did try to bring in humor here and there. That is your job well done. It's really hard to bring humor in such a situation and time, but the way you placed it and how you did it was fantastic. Your expressions, when you're telling about something, let's say when you're worried, the train is moving, you had your eyes wide open. And when you want to find something, it just rolled down small. It only goes to show how engrossed you were in your speech, the way, the attention to detail. You didn't miss out a single thing. It's easy to tell a story for an hour, but it's really hard to tell it for 7 minutes, and you did that job really well. The attention to detail, the minute information that you gave us in that 7-minute speech was fantastic. The most important part of a storytelling is building up suspense while having the audience attention. And that I was sitting at the edge of my chair and I was keenly observing and waiting when will the twist unfold itself. That's how I was engrossed. And I must say, you have done that job really well. What you may want to work upon is when we try to tell a story building, it is usually from an experience that we have faced. We sometimes get so engrossed in it, we tend to not maintain eye contact with the audience. We just look around, but we really don't connect that well. Although storytelling is to connect with the audience, you can connect it even better by connecting with them through the eye. It only helps it become better. And what you can do to challenge yourself is you have a really nice sense of humor, but I felt you're very hesitant to try it out or even push it further, at least not this speech, but otherwise, which I've seen you as for a long time now, since you've come back at really well. Maybe you can try a little more of humor, which you're really good at, and that will really work out. I'll take this liberty to tell you this. I've seen you for a long time now, before the COVID and right now. You're really comfortable in the way you speak. It's like you have set the benchmark for yourself. It's time to go beyond that as well. Try out new methods, new styles, and new vocal variety. All in all, to conclude, it was a fantastic speech. Your vocal variety, the clarity, the way you spoke, everything was just amazing. And thank you for reminding us the angels that we take for granted. And also, Toastmaster Jyoti, we missed you here, but I'm glad you're not forever. Thank you, and back to the general.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. That was comprehensive, as comprehensive as it could get. You had a whole lot of value add for the speaker, and there is absolutely nothing I want to add in terms of the content of what you shared. But here is something that I would share with Toastmaster Sai and all other members here. I believe every time a speaker is at the lectern, it is for everyone in the hall. Right? So this might be, you might be evaluating a particular Toastmaster speech, but your evaluation can also include everyone else. So let us make sure that when we are here, it might be for an individual, but everyone is included, as I'm doing right now. Because I could very well speak to you, I could turn around, look at you and speak to you, but what's in it for all of these people? So, and this is very important for evaluation contests as well, because I've seen evaluation contestants speak only to the target speaker. That leaves out 300 members in the hall. 300 members is where you win the contest, or in fact, eventually persuade, influence. So every time we are here, we make sure that we include everyone. And that fine balance of how to connect with the speaker and include everyone is what needs to be the end. If that's one step you could work on, that would be a great value add for every member. But for the quality of the evaluation that Toastmaster Sai gave us, please give us a round of applause. Can we have Evaluator 2 Toastmaster Shiva Prasad, please?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. And I'd like to welcome you all to my TED Talk on speaker who spoke about curves. Firstly, how Toastmaster Pavani started off her speech. A brilliant start, she said, a smile is a curved thing which sets things straight. Immediately grabbed my attention, and I'm sure it grabbed everyone's attention in the room. A second point I'd like to mention, the entire speech was related to the title. Now, when we got the agenda this morning, I was wondering, curves of life, what is she going to talk about really? But then I realized it is your job to create curves. You're a designer who who excels at creating those curves. Next point, Toastmaster Pavani has done a lot of research, a lot of effort has gone into the speech. The project was basically writing a speech with purpose. So she had to have a purpose, and she had to convince us all of what was there in that purpose. So basically, she said curves are there in all aspects of life, and curves are better than straight lines. The speech had a perfect purpose, and you have accomplished the purpose of the project by convincing all of us that curves are better than straight lines. You went from everything, for example, nature, blades of grass, where curves are better. Then you went to cells of the human body, why they are circular in shape. Then you even went to business, where S-shaped curve, J-shaped curve, why those things are important rather than straight lining of business. Entire speech, you spoke about curves, and it was a brilliant speech. Now coming to the part where you may want to work on. There were a few long pauses, as the accountant has mentioned, probably a bit more practice there, and it felt like you were forgetting what you wanted to say at that point. So a bit more practice, and that should be fine. Finally, coming to the last part where Toastmaster Pavani can challenge herself. During those long pauses, I felt like more than you forgetting what it was, you were searching for words. Like you had what was there in your mind. It's the way most of us function, right? Our brains function in our mother tongue. And when we have to bring it out in English, we might have a bit of struggle to bring it out. And at that point, I saw that you had it at the tip of your tongue, but it was not coming out. So probably to challenge yourself, I would suggest maybe working on your vocabulary, right? A brilliant book that I used called Word Power Made Easy. Or there are certain other books that you can use to improve your vocabulary. And that should be useful to you. And I'm sure you'll become a TED speaker one day. Overall, a brilliant speech about curves, and I definitely agree. And one more thing about curves is when you're making notes like this, curved lines will help you remember more than straight lines. So you can use that point when you're making notes. Overall, a brilliant speech, Toastmaster Pavani, and I'll be the first one to come to your TED talk whenever it happens. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. That was a comprehensive evaluation. I believe there is not much I want to add in terms of the content of your evaluation as well. But I would like to check with you if your diagnosis about vocabulary being the problem which caused the pause was something that you clarified with the speaker. Or was that a, if so, it might very well be something else, right? So it might, the way I see it, there are two ways to do it. One, you clarify with the speaker if that might have been the problem, and then you can include that in your feedback, or you could present a couple of hypotheses of what might have caused the speaker to take those long gaps. Might very well be nervousness, might very well be lack of preparation, which is very frequently the reason. Or it might be lack of a free-flowing vocabulary. Truth be told, in a prepared speech, free-flowing vocabulary should not be what you're falling back on, correct? Because it's a prepared speech. What you should be falling back on is your preparation. So if there's a gap in a prepared speech of how freely words are flowing, I would diagnose that to be a problem of preparation more than it is of vocabulary. Again, so it might be a host of reasons. I would say either clarify with the speaker or present a couple of hypotheses that are possible. Just so that we make sure that every speaker is given ample freedom and given feedback that they can consider with with ease. With that, again, the quality of your evaluation was top notch. Let's give Toastmaster Prasad a good round. With that, for the next speaker, Gaurav Badri, can we have the evaluator Toastmaster A.S. Balaji?
I'd like to say hello again to Toastmaster Ajay, because it was around 1.5 years ago when I got in touch with him for a conclave, and it took me, I think, more than 2 to 3 weeks to realize it was the same person. It actually came in as a pleasant surprise to me. I'm sure he's also wondering when was it. It was actually for a school, a Chief School of Education, that you gave a conclave. I got your connect through Kirtanana. And I was pleasantly shocked when I was like, oh my God, I know this person. He's definitely bulked up a little extra. There's more hair on his face and more hair on his head. Definitely unidentifiable. Why am I talking about G? Is because that is the exact expression I had when I saw Gaurav speak today. His speech bulked up. The number of jokes that came in were of better quality. And the speaker itself took me by a surprise. Whenever you come into actually evaluator speech, you have a few ready points. This speaker needs to work on these areas, and remaining we'll see during the speech. Because you've seen the speaker for a long time. And then of course, Gaurav today took me completely out by surprise by giving me very less space to actually come in and give points that Gaurav has to work with. Let's look at the comparative study that he started off with. The comparative study was a very relatable topic. Automatically, he got the entire audience. Of course, the audience has boys and girls, and boys and girls both could relate to the comparative study that was put on table. And the beauty was not the comparative study. The beauty was when the comparative study was stitched to the story. He took that study to the story. I thought this is going to be a major pro-woman or a pro-man league where he's going to prove one particular party the better party than the other. But it went into a beautiful story which kept us all completely engaged. And Gaurav here used his entire body and soul as a character in the story itself. And when you completely put yourself out there to the audience is completely with you. And I'm sure for the entire 7-minute time frame that Gaurav spoke, there was no one in the audience who wanted to do anything else. Like how one of the Toastmasters is checking her text now. That didn't happen during your speech. And that itself is a powerful thing, Gaurav. When I spoke, when I actually understood the connect, that's where I realized Gaurav spent some good time on the scripting. And while we're talking about the scripting, I do have to suggest a few pointers that Gaurav could work on for the next speech. One is the word usage. It is amazing to connect with your audience with simple language. We love that. There's no better way of doing it. But at the same time, this is an audience that knows you, Gaurav. This is an audience that knows who Gaurav is as a person and the personality of Gaurav. So jokes land better. The script lands better. Now, next time when I would really want you to up the game by adding more power in the words you're using itself. Even if I close my eyes and I don't know who the speaker is, the word should make me laugh or whatever emotion you're trying to create. That's something I definitely want to see you excel. And one more thing is energy. You started off at a 30-40% energy, and once you started getting the audience, you came to 60, 70, 80, 90 energy. The energy should never be dependent on how the audience is reacting to your speech. The energy should completely be with it. Before even you get back at the lectern, you should decide, I am going to be at my personal best. The comparative study itself could be with all the energy that you had when you were pumping your chest. Right? So if you would have got the audience from there, I think it would have been more magical. That's about it. And eye contact. Today, your eye contact was exceptionally good from the previous speeches that I've watched. And there were still a few seconds that you still look down. There is this one particular thing where you go back and you come front and again come back to the audience. That was avoided to a great extent in today's talk. So I want to congratulate you on that. And I definitely would want you to completely be hooked to the audience in their eye in the next speech. And I would also love to challenge you with 3 things. One, Gaurav, you have definitely taken us all by this amazing, charming speech, because like the purpose statement itself is, you can really get the audience inspired by any means of talking. And you chose the best way to inspire an audience, that is humor. And through humor, you also had a message. So great opening, great body, great conclusion. Now you know exactly how to build a great speech. I'd love to see some different kinds of speeches where I would see Gaurav giving dramatic pauses. Something like, ladies, if you really had to do this, would you do? Maybe something like that. I would definitely want to see Gaurav doing that. And a little high tempo speech where your energy is completely pumped up from the start till the end, 7 minutes of solid energy. I really want you to try that as well. And of course, I'd also want you to try and make the audience cry, because humor definitely is your forte. Anyone who heard you speak today is definitely going to say that. Now, of course, all the 3 points are in tandem for one speech. So maybe your next speech could have a lot of dramatic pauses. I'm saying dramatic, I wouldn't really suggest to anyone. But Gaurav is such a practical, logical speaker. For him, when he gets dramatic, it just becomes a pause. Right? So dramatic pauses, a little higher energy, and try and make your audience cry. This is my challenge to you, but all in all, congratulations on an excellent and fruitful speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji, for that wonderful speech. Evaluation. I'm just checking with the timer if the evaluations are being timed.
No, I wrote it down, but I didn't announce it.
Okay. Would that be feedback that the GE can share? I believe evaluation is also timed, right? 2 to 3 minutes. The evaluator needs to get to know to pace their evaluation as well. So for all timers going forward, evaluations are timed as well. They're 2 to 3 minutes. But coming back to Toastmaster Balaji, what an excellent evaluation. These are evaluations that raise the bar for the speaker. They're calibrated to the speaker's speaking potential, which is excellent. And only suggestion that I would have is something that's slightly off tangent to uphold the sanctity of the lecture. Because at one point you innocuously said, as an evaluator, you generally have these things. You say, a speaker will have this. You generally have something prepared that you'll come and say. Only after hearing the speaker, you will make a few tweaks. That is almost saying that evaluators will be prepared with a false, preset set of words or observations. I believe evaluators don't do that, or they should not. And by saying that here, we are lowering the expectation for evaluators, or the worst case, setting the wrong precedent for other Toastmasters, that you can actually have a few preset ideas in your mind of what you should say to the speaker. And no matter what their speech is, your opening lines will be the same. We never want that to happen. Do we all agree on that? So that's the only suggestion I have for you. If not, beautiful, highly calibrated, in-depth feedback. I'm sure Toastmaster Gaurav took a lot home. So please give Toastmaster Balaji a huge round of applause. So that brings me to the table topic master. Table topic master of the evening, Sharanya Prasad. When a Toastmaster is excited about his or her role, I believe that's when the audience gets excited about that particular role. And Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad did an excellent job about being excited, about being the table topic master, which I think was infectious for speakers on the whole. Having said that, I would also measure the success of a table topic session by the average duration of the table topic responses delivered. I've seen in your case, Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad, I think the topics you chose were very apt, simple, very relatable, chosen with great calibration, knowing the Toastmaster, him or her, so excellent. But the real challenge for a table topic session would be if we can make the average response cross 2 minutes. That is the true success of a table topic session. So I would let you, reflect on that after you check the timing. And one other slight suggestion that I have for you that holds good for all of us is, as Toastmasters, what distinguishes us from non-Toastmasters? Words, right? So words carry power. Words are power. So I would encourage us to be careful with the adjectives we choose. I saw a table topic response was literally 4 seconds. And Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad came, thank you for that amazing, inspiring response. Those were positive words, but they did not suit that occasion, right? So while we also share uplifting feedback, as Toastmasters, we have to be mindful of the adjectives we throw in. Amazing, outstanding, simply fantabulous. We are lowering the standard for those words, and for I don't know if the Toastmaster even feels genuinely appreciated for his or her words. I mean, these are little. I'm nitpicking at this point, but why not as well, right? But for being so excited about your role and bringing so much creativity for the role, Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad, please give her a hand. And a quick note to the table topic speakers, just make a personal commitment to not leave the lectern for at least 1 minute. Just do not leave. Ideas will come in. Ideas will come in. Stay there. Just be okay to be embarrassed standing there for a minute, and ideas will come in. And once they do, oh boy, then you will see the red flag, and then you have to leave. But till then, please stay. And second, I've noticed that it's not a challenge to get multiple ideas. The brain always has ideas. We have to channelize those ideas. Generally, I've seen in table topics, people have multiple ideas, and by the time they think what they want to speak about, they take a long duration. So I believe the problem is I don't know what to speak. It's actually indecision on what to speak. So if you can categorize that, there are some table topic sessions that you can refer to, or we can do here. It's if you can calibrate it's not the question of I don't have anything in my mind. It is about deciding of this, what will I choose? And if you start with one leg, the other ideas and words will keep flowing. So you have to decide that I'll go against the topic or for the topic. The moment you decide that, you'll have content for first 20 seconds. While you're speaking that, you cover for the next 1 minute. So take a decision that you will go this way. Immediately your mind will help you with all the content that you need. But it starts with the decision, don't leave the lecture for at least 1. Are we all okay with that? So I guess a round of applause for all table topic speakers for attending. With that, what we are left with is the MC for the day, Toastmaster Balaji. Humorous encounters. He could not have chosen a better theme. So great job in choosing a theme that works for you. Always tying the meeting together. That's what an MC does, right? With those the bridges between two speakers. So Toastmaster Balaji did really well. If there is a suggestion, I think the opening monologue, if I may call it, was a tad too long. That's when I almost started to fear that you might overpower this session because of the ability you have to be moderately funny. I thought you might overpower the session, but apart from that, you did pull it back. So the MC would never be the highlight of the meeting. Stitch the meeting together. So if you can keep that in mind. Apart from that, you bring a lot of flavor, content, original thought to this meeting and to this club. So your comments and your humor is highly appreciated. Please keep doing. Don't make it hard for me to keep a straight face. So please keep doing what you're doing. Please give Toastmaster Balaji a huge round of applause. Is that all? Do I covered everything?
Can you just ask people to vote
For
for the other evaluations?
Can we take 10 seconds to vote for all the evaluators, please? Digitization has really robbed us of some joy because this is the first time I'll be voting electronically, probably not today. There was a time when a few of us remember we would write chits on who's voting and it would be circulated all around. The sergeant has to accumulate these 35, and then it's a real huge task because people would have voted for the most obscure contestant and you'll have to keep a tab of everything. But now we have digitization, which has ironically robbed us of the humorous encounters that would occur during that time. But this is truly progress. Times have changed, so should we, but times should also end because it's time. Thank you, and back to Toastmaster Balaji.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for that lovely general evaluation. So that's just a bit of what we can learn from the general evaluator. Looking forward to more seeing you move in the direction. With this, I would like to give the charge back to our president, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji. We had a great meeting today with two stalwart Toastmasters taking up the roles of MC and GE. It's great to have you back, Toastmaster Ajay. And I think many of the new Toastmasters may be seeing you in action for the first time. We remember your speeches and your table topic responses as well. And so please keep coming and taking up roles, and it is a lot of takeaways for all the Toastmasters, particularly the newer Toastmasters here. And coming to the feedback, I request our members to go to Party's Base Camp and give your feedback to the role takers and speakers, and also do inform them so that they are aware of your feedback at the Party's Base Camp. I think all of them have voted. Coming to the winners of today's meeting, the best TAPG goes to Toastmaster Monish. And the best role MTG goes to Toastmaster Ajay. The best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Sai Snehal. The best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Vijay Upendra. And by both. The best speaker is Toastmaster Gaurav. With that, we come to the end of the meeting, and I now close meeting number 1174 and request everyone to stand for the national anthem.
Punjab, Sindhu, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Banga, Vindhya, Himachala, Yamuna, Ganga, Uchala, Jaladi, Taranga, Tava Shubha Name Jare, Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage, Gahe Tava Jaya Gata, Jana Gana Mangala Jaya Bharata Bhagya Vidhata, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya 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 He.
Photograph? Can you all get together for a photograph, please?
Yes. So, MD recording.